Hello, how are you? Welcome to the Lesson Jigsaw channel. This is the show Have a Tea with me. We are here for English language learners. If you are learning English and you want to practice your speaking and conversation skills, we are here for you. All you need to do is to click on the link that you will see in the chat. You come through to the studio and we can have a conversation. We can chat about whatever you'd like to chat about. Maybe you want to practice a particular situation, maybe role play through that. Maybe you prefer to talk about different events that are happening in the world. Maybe you just have some different pieces of vocabulary that you want to use, and you want to use them in different conversations. So you like to practice that. Certainly, we can do all that. Maybe it's just general chit chat. We want to talk about, I don't know, just the weather, or how things are, or what the train or the bus was like today, or something like that. All of those options are open to you. Whatever you fancy talking about, essentially, whatever you fancy talking about, we can try and do that. We're here for you to hopefully gain more confidence in using English, and hopefully getting you to practice more, to produce more English. That's very, very key. We really want you to produce English speaking and writing. It's very, very important. There's so much that we can gain from reading things, so much we can gain from listening to TV shows, podcasts, that sort of stuff. But really, to make it part of the language that we use, we need to speak and we need to write. So we're here for at least part of that. But I guess you could do a little bit of speaking, a little bit of writing as well. I guess that's both options are available here. So certainly we welcome you to joining the stream. As I say, click on the link and you can come on through and chat. It's as simple as that. We are here every day, Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock Universal Time. If that's not a good time for you, perhaps you're watching this on the replay and you'd like to participate, but this is not a good time for you, send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com, and let us know where you are in the world, and maybe what days and times are better for you. We can see if we can perhaps arrange a live stream with you at that time, and have some English practice with you. That would be really, really good. So yes, now in the meantime, while I'm the only one here, I'm going to chat with myself as I do, as I do. So I'm going to chat with myself about stuff, and just naturally, the conversations tend to go wherever they go. So you would know anyway when you have your own conversations. They maybe start on one topic, and then they float around and go to all different types of topics. So as normally happens with conversations in any language, I dare say, in any language. So I should point out as well that link that I'm talking about, if you're watching this on Twitter, you won't see that link. So you would need to go to either the Lesson Jigsaw page on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch to find that link. But certainly, yes, that would be the easiest way to do that. So for most parts of the world, when this broadcast is going out, it is Friday the 22nd of April, 2022. So I guess you have that little 220422. If you write the date in the British way, British English way, but if you write it in the American way, it'll be 042222. So maybe not as magical. That's the way of the world, isn't it? So, that tea is just a tad too hot still. So I'm going to have to wait. It's a tad too hot. It's always the apostrophe. It's a tad too hot. The tad is like a little bit. It's a little bit. But sometimes when we say it's a little bit, maybe it could mean a lot as well. So it's a matter of perhaps understanding the context that the person's talking, because often with, and maybe this is the same in many languages, often we may exaggerate or understate how important something is. And I think that's pretty common. I guess the most common one you might hear is someone say, oh, we have a bit of a problem. And maybe like you have no petrol in the car or something like that. Which of course is a big problem if you need to go somewhere. So yes, so we could say that. And on two is interesting as well, because this two with T-O-O, this means more than it should be, or more than you would like, or more than you would prefer. So my preference is for the heat to be a little lower. So yes. So the heat, temperature of the drink. The heat or temperature of the drink. Well, it should be lower. Well, it's my preference for it to be lower. Is the optional thing. What we do say here as well is, of course, that any sort of words you may see, maybe you're familiar with words that you'll see like that are written out or used, or maybe you're not familiar with them, and so maybe they're new words. So to be familiar with a word or expression. Maybe you're familiar with them, you know them, and that's great. And if you're not familiar with them, you may be thinking, okay, so I want to try and use that word. I want to that word is important to me, and I think that's the key word. If that word is important to you, so you have situations, or you can imagine times when you would actually use that word, utilize that word. If it's a word you think, oh, okay, that's interesting, that's a nice word, but I'll probably maybe only use it once or twice a year. In reality, like you think of your native language and how often you would use that word in your native language. And yeah, like I say, if it's only like maybe 1 or 2 times a year, there's low priority to learn that. So I think with any new words that you see, try and prioritize them, and the ones that are the top of that priority list, so the most frequently used, most probably, I would try and use them. So I tell people, think of like 4 or 5 words a day, but then actively try and use them. So don't just like make a list and say, well, 4 or 5 words and maybe use them once. You need to try and actively use them throughout the day, speaking and writing. So you need to produce those words. You can also listen for different contexts and stuff for those words. So like a website like Youglish or something would be good for that, or any sort of like corporate websites. If you're not sure about any, let me know and I can tell you about some. But that's generally the way to go, I think. Try and actively use them and find them, but production is really, really important. So use that throughout the day, and then the next day, another 4 or 5 words, again, from the top of that priority list. And you'll see, I mean, very quickly, 4 or 5, maybe, I don't know, maybe it sounds a lot, maybe not, I don't know. But very quickly, you'll get a good amount of words that you're regularly using if you do it like that. As opposed to sometimes I see people with big, huge lists of maybe like 20, 30, 40 words and stuff that they're trying to use or memorize or something. And maybe I can understand if they're trying to memorize for an exam or something. I mean, that's another question in itself. But it's not in terms of long-term learning and remembering for the long term. I would suggest a slow and steady approach, shall we say. A slow and steady approach. Okay. So yes. So just a reminder, this is Have a Tea with me. We are here on the Lesson Jigsaw channel at 12 o'clock every day, Monday to Friday, for English language conversation practice. and speaking practice here for you. Just need to click on the link that you see in the chat and you can come on through to the studio. If now is not a good time, you can always send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. Let us know where you are in the world, your time zone, and days and times in general, when it would be better for you to chat, and we can see if we can arrange a time to chat with you. So that's about it. Let me see. What should we chat about today? What should we chat about today? Because normally what we do, we look at a picture, or we have, I guess, ideas of pictures, or from news stories, and that sort of thing. But what would be interesting for you to talk about today? I don't know. Or I wonder what would be worthy of a conversation today for you. When you generally talk, what do you include in your conversations? You know, when you're having a normal conversation, you know, what's a main topic? Do you talk about just the news of the day? You know, topics about events that are happening around you in your local community or in your region or country? Is that how, or how you would normally have a conversation? Or do you always start by talking about, you know, your family? Maybe you've got kids, and sort of talking about that. Is that how you would talk, or what you would talk about? Well, how you would talk, I guess, is not exactly right, but yeah, what you would talk about as the subject. Or are you maybe very, what's the word, maybe dedicated or obsessed by particular topics or areas? So maybe you talk about, I guess the classic one is sports. Some people are really, really obsessed with sports, and depending on where they are in the world, talking about different, or their local sport perhaps. Or it could also be a sport that they play. So maybe they play all sorts of different sports. Maybe they play, I don't know, it could be one of the different types of football. There's several types of football. So maybe like one of the types of football. Maybe they talk about, depending on where they are, maybe they talk about things like basketball. Maybe they talk about something like netball. Maybe they're into the martial arts. So different types of martial arts could be interesting for some people. Would you talk about, let's say, for example, sports that you play or sports that you watch? Because I guess there are like plenty of people who would mainly watch sports, but maybe not participate, and maybe they're not as sporty themselves, or their skill level, their talent level isn't as high, so they prefer to watch those ones. And then when they play, maybe they only play like very casually or very occasionally when they do that. It's always a possibility as well. So yeah, I guess they're like different sorts of topics I think that people can talk about. What about topics like this? I know I always find that people around me always, the topics always tend to go towards food. Tell me, what do you like when you get food? Are you one of these people that, or do you know people that tend to, like, when they receive food, they always take a photo? Do you know those people? Every single dish that they receive, it's like, I'm not sure if you know the what's the old sort of expression where they go, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, did it actually fall? And that sort of thing. So if there's no evidence of the thing happening, And I wonder if that's the same thing that people have when they're eating or they're in a restaurant or wherever it may be. So if they're not taking a photo of the food, maybe they didn't eat it. Or maybe it's for social media. Maybe they want to pop it on Instagram, something like that. That could be the situation. Maybe it's a case of maybe they're counting their calories, and so they don't want to do it necessarily live each time. But what they do is when they're taking a photo at the end of the day, maybe they can keep a log of all the different calories that they've eaten. I guess that's a possibility, isn't it? That people are counting their calories. And so they go, okay, so for example, with this, they'll go, okay, I had a hamburger, but there was like a bun, there was like the meat patty, there was, looks, well, this could be like, there could be bacon at the bottom. I can't really tell exactly, but maybe some bacon. There was egg, there was, I'm not sure what else. Well, maybe there's a couple eggs. It's hard to tell if it's egg or maybe they put some cheese in there as well. Looks like maybe some onion and asparagus for some reason. I can't remember the last time I had a burger with asparagus. That's an unusual one. What do you think? I don't get me wrong. I'm sure so it depends how they cook the asparagus. I would say if it's fried, or maybe if it's a light grill. Maybe a light grill, that's okay. I don't know. I prefer asparagus steamed. For me, it's more flavorful if it's steamed. But then again, that could depend on the taste buds. So yeah. So then they list all of those different ingredients that they've eaten, and then do the calorie count. So that could be a possibility. So maybe someone is counting their calories, to count the calories you consume. So consuming is when you put it into your body, is when you're actually consuming those foods. I suppose you put it into your body and you swallow. So it's going down into the stomach to be processed, let's say. Of course, the process that happens is digestion. So to digest the food. So yeah. Well, it's a strange little thing, isn't it? Strange little thing. Interesting. So yeah. Let me ask you a question. When you have an egg, if you have eggs, and do you prefer a runny yolk? So you can see with this egg, the yolk is the yellow bit from the egg. So you have a yolk, the yellow part of an egg. So you have a yolk. Do you prefer? Do you prefer a runny, or most people would say either solid or hard egg, or hard yolk. In your egg. This is when it's in your egg, of course, is when you're consuming it. When you receive the egg first, you would want, or maybe you just like chocolate eggs. That could be the case as well. So you prefer a runny or hard yolk? And that's when you have, well, of course, there's different ways to cook, but you can have soft boiled eggs and hard boiled eggs. And this refers to the yolk. So if the yolk is, the yellow bit is runny or liquidy, or not liquidy. So maybe even dry, I guess some people might say. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer a runny yolk, personally. I prefer a soft soft-boiled egg, or eggs where it has the yellow bit where you can open it up and it runs everywhere. I think that's for me, it's a flavor sensation to enjoy that. I think it's something like a hamburger. I don't know this. The only thing with this hamburger is, I don't know. Do you prefer to have a hamburger that's more greasy, shall we say? Maybe we can't really see here. Maybe they've cleaned it up for the photo. Do you prefer like a burger, like when you squeeze it, there's like oil and sort of fat sort of dripping out, so you get all messy, or your hands are all messy, you could say. It's fatty, whoops, fatty, no, fatty and greasy, so that your hands get all messy, so you get lots of the liquid all over your hands. Is that a good burger for you, if it's so greasy? And that's, I guess, irrespective if it's if it has meat or if it doesn't have meat, you can still have that effect of the grease coming off and the fat coming off. I guess for some people, they may be going, "Oh, that's really unhealthy then with all the fat." I guess it's all about the quantity, isn't it? And the frequency. If you have that every day, maybe it's not as healthy. I don't know. I mean, we hear different things about fat these days, don't we? In terms of what's good to eat. So I guess historically, fat's always been a bad thing. But I don't know. These days, you have lots of people saying, "Well, fat's not too bad. Everything in moderation, I suppose. Everything in moderation." But the bigger concern, rather than fat, is more about sugar, salt, fructose, those sorts of things. But yeah, and I guess the question could be if it's just better to have things that are whole foods, I guess is what people like to refer to these days. To eat or to consume, whole foods. Yes, that's why. I assume it's part of it. You have well, it's common to get. I'm not sure about everywhere. Maybe you've encountered this or not, but that's why in some places you can get the bunless burger, and so they tend to wrap the burger in a larger lettuce leaf, maybe two or one if it's particularly big, or depending on the size, of course. You get a bunless burger, so there's no bread, and so you can have foods that haven't necessarily gone through a process. So instead of having using the meat patty from minced meat, they use like a steak or a cut of whatever meat, or it could be something like tofu or something like that. I guess that would have been through a process, but nevertheless. Or you can have different grains, or sometimes you have a large mushroom. You get like which mushrooms are they? I can't remember the name for those mushrooms, but those really large mushrooms. So maybe grill one of those and have that, and basically you can have the whole burger as all whole foods. So just basically slices of different things together and wrapped in a lettuce leaf. So it's a whole food burger, a HFB. HFB? No, WFB, because whole, of course, like we spelt here. So whole with a, do we spell? Okay, whole with a W is the key. Yes. So a whole food burger. I guess that's a healthier option, perhaps, isn't it? Because you're consuming less processed foods, more natural foods, and I guess the fat overall is relatively minor, I would say, in total compared to everything else. And of course, it's like, I guess it's like everything, though, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's moderation. Moderation and knowing your body, I guess, knowing what your body can tolerate, what's good for your body and bad for your body, and that sort of thing. If maybe there's something is not doesn't react well with your body, you have small amounts. That's of course like why you have different types of bread, and you have like the gluten-free varieties. Some people have genuine allergies. Some people just don't like to consume gluten in different forms. So it would be nice to go to countries where I guess the process of making bread is more, or it's basically the same as what it was. How long ago? I don't know. If you go back hundreds of years before, I guess they started to refine the flours and that sort of thing. So yeah, if it sort of if it had all of the natural nutrients from the original types of grains, could be very beneficial. I guess that would be a very healthy bun to consume if you had the bread bun with that type of grain. So yes. So okay, let's just remind you. This is Have a Tea with me. We are here for English language conversation practice. Now, while no one else is here, and no one else is chatting, I just chat to myself. That's the that's the way it goes while I'm consuming my tea. So here for English language conversation and speaking practice. So if you're an English language learner and you want to practice your speaking or your conversation skills about whatever topic. So like today I've been talking about burgers and egg yolks and that sort of stuff. But we can talk about whatever you prefer to talk about. So maybe there's some different pieces of vocabulary you want to practice. We can try and have a conversation, try and utilize them in the different conversations. Maybe there's a particular situation that you have coming up. Could be an interview, or you're just going to act or interact in different situations. Maybe you have a meeting with someone. Maybe you need to um, give a document, and you want to prepare for whatever maybe questions that could be asked to you about the document, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to buy, I don't know, a new mobile phone plan or something, and you want to practice asking about the different options that are available. Let's we can certainly practice all of those different sorts of things, and any other suggestions that you have. 12 o'clock Universal Time. We are here Monday to Friday. You can also send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. Let us know if that time is not good for you. Let us know what could be a better time for you in your time zone. So tell us the times and days that might be better for you. We can see if we can arrange a time to have a live stream and have a chat and practice your speaking. So we want to try and help you gain your confidence using English, speaking English, producing English. Very, very key when you're learning to try and produce and do the activity. That's the same if it's learning English, or I don't know, playing a sport, whatever different sports, or learning any type of skill. Um, there's only so much theory that you can uh, benefit from without actually putting it into practice. There's always something special about putting it into practice, using it, using it, and that's in case of language, it's speaking and writing is the key. So let's get that down. So to put it into practice. So to put something into practice. And so to put something into practice could actually mean practicing, but it basically just means using it. So if it's practice or a real life situation, to put something into practice is you utilizing whatever it is. So in this case, speaking and writing English. Okay, so this is the Lesson Jigsaw channel and Have a Tea with me. We're going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, all that sort of stuff. We hope to see you very soon. Hope to have you participating very soon. And we wish you a pleasant rest of the day, sleep, work, whatever the case may be for wherever you're watching us and whatever time of day it is as well. Maybe you're off to sleep now, or maybe it's the beginning of your day. So it could all be a variation for you. So we hope you're having a wonderful time and things are going to be good for you. We'll see you the next